You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate. We're nice now. Nope. You're now listening to the Friends of Rugby. We're starting this podcast.
When did you hit record?
Like 2 seconds ago.
Oh, okay, good.
I wanted to catch you off guard.
Yeah, you do that every week. That was actually off guard, though. Usually I pretend to be caught off guard, but you actually did get me then.
Like to sneak it in.
Yeah.
I'm like a podcast Green Beret. You don't see me coming.
I would like to.
I'm here with my co-host, Frank, the
Hi.
bubble bath maniac.
What?
You gonna tell the listeners how you collect bubble baths?
I collect bubble baths.
Yeah. What do you call it? Bubble bath scents? Flavors? Like...
In the industry? Yeah, we like to call it that. What the fuck are you on about?
You know, you collect different bubble baths.
You mean like a full bath full of bubbles? Or
no, like the different types of bottles and the scents.
Why don't you tell me a rugby story?
Ocean breeze.
Tell me about your first game. You should. I like that you started with a story last week.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
You like that?
Yeah,
like
and you got me fired up, so why don't you get yourself fired up? Start yourself off.
My first rugby game was my first actual full contact game was like a funsy game. They had like an over and under.
Oh, an over and under, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we do that back home. So if you don't know what that is, it's where you divide two teams in half by age, right?
Yeah, usually in your own. It's like an interclub match.
Yeah, it's a friendly where all the older people play all the younger people, right? Mm-hmm. They are fun, actually.
I was playing on the wing.
Really?
Yeah, we used to have this huge prop named Andy. He was a big dude.
Yeah.
And he gets the ball and he's running at me.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen that video with what's the beast's name?
Tendai.
Yeah. Anyways, he's running down the sideline with the ball, and then that little winger gets in the way. It's a famous video.
Yeah, just runs over him.
And then you could see him. He's like this tank running towards him, and the wingers is like, "Oh, God bless this guy."
And he accelerates probably into him as well.
And he just runs into him, and the winger gets the tackle, but it's because he's just
got in the way, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened to me. I just get run over. I see this guy like running at me.
Yeah,
it's this is the first time I'm in any position to make a tackle in my whole life.
Yeah. And
I'm just more, what's it called? I'm just more in shock of what's coming towards me. Like a deer in the headlights. It's just like my life is running from my eyes.
So you didn't get in the right body position or anything like that?
No, I just stood there.
Yeah.
And then I put my arms out and he just literally runs over me.
Yeah.
And as he's running over me, I remember grabbing his foot.
Yeah.
And he went down.
Nice.
Yeah, and guys were like, "Oh, great tackle." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, it's great." Yeah.
The amount of accidental tackles I've made, and someone's like, "Good tackle, we needed that," and I'm like, "I don't fucking remember doing anything."
Yeah, I just remember being in shock. I was like, "What am I supposed to do here? How do you stop this?"
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
now I can do it all day, but
yeah. No, that muscle memory is important, isn't it?
It was just I just like never had to make a tackle before. I think I was only around the team for like a month or two. I went through a few.
So you've been to a couple practices.
Yeah, a couple practices, and then they had this game. They're like, "Oh, you should come play it, try it out." And I was like, "Okay, I'll play in this game." And
more importantly, what was a prop doing on the wing?
he was there.
Just popped up.
Yeah.
He saw you, thought I'm going that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did.
But he fucking regretted the day he did that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, because I grabbed his foot.
Steve Monteith.
I grabbed that foot so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was holding on to that foot. I was like, "Fuck you, man."
That's smart, actually. That's a kind of the first game I played here was an over under the end of sort of around the COVID time. So it was just a bunch of casuals. And I made a tackle and he got up and I just held onto his ankle. And I had one of these guys going like, "Can you do that?" And I was like, "No, but you know, this is why other countries are good at rugby. Like we know how to be cheat, basically, right?" Like,
have you ever been ankle tapped? Like,
yeah, several
sucks.
times. Yeah, it's horrible.
I'd almost rather get tackled.
I would 100%. It's more dangerous.
Your body just goes everywhere.
Your head goes before your legs, right? And you just start flying into the ground. I've had a bunch as well where have you been pushed into touch like at speed? That's fucked. Yeah, I hate it because you'll be running full tilt. Really close to the line, presumably, and someone pushes you, and you just can't slow down if you're going that fast. So you just not only do fly up into touch, but you have to force yourself to fall over, right? Otherwise, you just keep going.
Yeah, I've cut my face open. I've torn both my rotator cuffs.
Yeah.
The worst thing in rugby, the worst thing in a game, the worst, most painful thing is when someone steps on your foot.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's pretty bad.
That is, I fucking...
Yeah. A cheeky ball grab as an accidental, but horrible ball grabbers. You know, when someone tries to wrap their arms in the tackle and they grab a handful of testicle, like that's pretty rough as well.
that sucks, but...
No, I see what you're saying, though,
the stepping on the toes.
Yeah.
Like, I had this high school kid, and he just like started wailing, and I was like, what happened? What happened? He's like, my foot got stepped on. I'm like, bud, that's going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to... It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst part of rugby. It's the worst.
It is. Yeah, you might be right. It might be right, actually. Because at least with the ball grabbing, no one wants to do it. You know? And there's not as much force in there, is there?
I had a face clash too. That sucked.
Yeah.
My own player.
It's usually your own player when you knock your head.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I made a tackle, but he was somehow on the other side of the tackle.
Yeah.
And he just comes right and just fucking smashes his face into my face.
Unplanned 2-man tackles are fucking lethal.
Yeah, it sucks.
No, they're horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had Levi lifted him in the line out.
Yeah.
When he came down, he put his thumb right in my eye.
Oof.
And I swear that thing, like I swear for a few seconds, I thought he shoved my eye back.
That's what it feels like because it's so squishy, isn't it?
Because it went right in there.
Yeah, it feels squishy. You feel like a dirty nail
and I was
touching your
around,
retinas.
and I was like, oh fuck, my eye's fucking gonna have to wear an eye patch.
And then you're like fine in 2 minutes, but
yeah. But that was scary. That was probably the scariest thing that happened was I got the finger in the eye. Yeah. Because his thumb went or whatever it was, went right in there.
Yeah. That never happened to me until relatively recently, and I always remember, you see it in an international game or any kind of game on TV, someone will get eye gouged and everyone loses their fucking minds. Like the ref goes to the reddest of cards. The pundits like, how dare he gouge that eye? That looked deliberate. And for a long time I was like, what's the big fucking deal? It was accidental. Like shit happens. But when it's happened to you, you're like, oh no, we need to take this. It's as dangerous as head contact, right? Like you could blind someone if you're just keep your fucking hand away from the eye,
Who was that Irish international? Well, he wasn't. He played for Italy,
right?
And he had the one eye.
Oh, really?
He was 10. He was like a fly half.
Oh,
what was his name?
Oh, I don't know. I thought I would know about that. That sounds famous.
And he was like one of the first players to like bring goggles into the game because he only had one eye.
Oh,
he played for a while.
At 10 with one eye.
Yeah.
Did he have both eyeballs?
He was starting 10.
Yeah.
For Italy.
That's mental.
Yeah, and he was from Ireland.
Right.
I think he might be actually in the international setup with Italy right now, like in the coaching thing somewhere.
I'll have to. I'm checking that out now. I'm surprised I haven't.
I'm surprised you haven't heard, but he's like a famous player.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't remember his name.
Irish-born blind rugby player. Oh, you're talking about Ian McKinley.
Yes, that's the name.
Oh, I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that one of his eyes not real then?
Yeah, someone stepped on it with a cleat.
Oh.
And his eyeball burst.
Oh. Okay, that's enough from us today. Thanks for listening, guys. Yeah. Going to bed. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's scary, right?
That's horrible.
Yeah, that'll put the fear of God in you.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
No, you're scared.
I don't want to talk to you. Go home.
You want to know what else is scary?
Not really.
Even not more terrifying. I shouldn't say that. I should downplay this guy's injury. Japan rugby.
What do you mean?
Oh my God.
Oh, nice segue. But yes, yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I had to.
You watched this game? I didn't.
Yeah, this game was on at midnight.
Right.
So I stayed up,
which is reasonable hour for us. That might sound weird to other people, but that's a good time for us, isn't it?
I stayed up and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna watch this game. If the All Blacks just start blowing away, then I'll go to bed."
Okay.
Right. That was my thing. Right.
Yeah.
So the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand scored first right away. Boom, right off the hop. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look good. But then right after that, Japan, they get one in.
Yeah.
They score a try. And I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then New Zealand score again.
Okay.
Right after that, Japan put another one in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. Okay, I was like, we might have a game here. Like they look great.
Yeah.
And then it just falls apart.
Yeah.
They got to have the worst defense in like Tier 1 international rugby.
Are they missing tackles or is their formation bad? Like
there was guys that literally like did not want to tackle.
Oh.
Like the All Blacks were running by them and they were like, yeah, I'm not doing this today. Fuck it. No, I'm not gonna put the effort in.
Yeah.
It was fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like just the lack of effort to like be physical.
Yeah.
They just didn't want it.
Oh. That doesn't sound very Eddie Jones coaching to me.
They are regressing under Eddie Jones.
They were regressing before him, but yeah,
they were a little bit, weren't they? But it's so bad, and you think with the league that they have, the players that are playing in that league,
you're gonna find some gems, aren't you?
Yeah,
you would think
those
so.
Japanese players are going to be of good quality because they're playing with top quality competition.
Yeah,
but there's some connection in that system that there's a missing connection somewhere. Yeah. I don't know if it's the style that they play in Japan, or I can't put my finger on it. But there is something seriously missing there.
If only someone had lived in Japan for a while who could comment on this.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I don't know. Like, I mean, I could speculate about like cultural issues, but that would just seem like I'm grasping. Like, I don't know. But it is weird because isn't it the most expensive in terms of players paid money league in the world?
I think so.
Or maybe it's France or them, but
it's between the two for sure.
Yeah, it must
be. For sure. So
for
sure it's between the two.
Yeah.
It's just what you expect something more.
I do expect more, and when I watch Japan play, what always impressed me was their fitness, their zip. You know, from the breakdown, they get that ball out so fast. Like, they can catch anyone off guard, and it sounds like that's what happened as well. Yeah, I'm not surprised they can't stay in a game. But
the tackling, it was just you're not. I'm not used to seeing such bad tackling from an international team.
I don't, as much as it's a big league and there's lots of money in it, it's not a sport a lot of Japanese people even know about, right? Even in countries where it's not the biggest sport. Somewhere like Italy, right? Yeah, they're decent now, but you ask the average guy in Rome, they will be aware that it's a sport and probably not care about it, right? In Japan, I met a lot of people who had no fucking clue what it was, right?
Oh, I would believe that.
Yeah.
The only thing is, like, what I'm taking into account here is their league has some of the best players in the world playing there.
Right. I think that would rub off a bit.
So these Japanese guys are playing with these players.
Yeah.
Their university rugby is big.
And they're producing a lot of
they have
university level players, aren't they?
Yeah, they have some pretty good private rugby schools. Their university rugby is pretty high caliber too. It's pretty popular.
Yeah, it is.
So you're thinking, I would assume that they would start producing some mega stars, and they had some players. Like, they've always had Japan.
Oh yeah, I remember Goromaru with the kind of he did the triangle hand kicking, and everyone loved that. He was kind of he was on every billboard they had there for a while.
They had that scrum half. They had a scrum half playing for the Highlanders for a while.
Yeah.
They had some guys that were playing in Australia and Super Rugby. Like, they produced some really good players.
They don't produce particularly big forwards though, which
they don't.
Might not surprise people.
No, the size thing is like
it's a thing. It's a thing.
If you always look at their locks, like, there's no Japanese-born lock.
Yeah, yeah, and a lot actually. Their front rower is one of their front rowers is a Korean. Not that affects size or whatever, but what I'm saying is it's still not a big sport amongst like native-born Japanese people yet, right? Like, unless you happen to pick it up in university or something.
Like, I'm not privy to like the who's who in with the Japanese rugby players, but I also got to take into account Eddie Jones' selection.
That's what we were here to talk about. We were getting into the weeds there. We were too fucking serious. Let's get back to how much of a has-been that guy is.
That's my suspicion, because he's gone into this. I don't know. Ever since he left England, he's gone into this like mode where he like fucking just like I don't know.
Disappeared up his own ass.
Yeah.
I think he got so much criticism, and he's not good at taking criticism. Like, he shuts down, he fires back. And I think he just closed the door about 3 or 4 years ago mentally, and now he's just, I'm doing my rugby thing, and it's not working.
I think he came up with this master plan where he'll choose a super young, inexperienced team.
Which is what he tried to do in Australia.
And grow them into some kind of like rugby powerhouse.
Yeah.
And like, it didn't seem like the experiment worked, but he's doubling down. Like, no, it's got to work. I just got to keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, he just won't fucking give up.
He's like a mad scientist alone in his laboratory, right? Like, give it 10 years, I'll find a cure.
Yeah, just keeps doing the same experiment over and over and over again.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. Because I don't know. Like, when I heard that he chose that like that fullback from straight out of university to play England,
that was mental.
Yeah,
like... And on the other hand, though, he's still got Michael Checker doing all the grunt work for him. Not Michael Checker, Michael Leach. Like, he's had that. How long has that guy been playing for Japan now, right? Like,
man, Michael Leach is like only 31 years old.
Yeah, he is.
I thought he was like 40. He looked 40 like 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's still good as well. He's still a good player, but Yeah, he's got this strange mix of literally no experience and
like he's obsessed with like wiping the slate clean and trying to build something from scratch that's his.
maybe he just doesn't get along with people. So it's like it's one strike and you're out with him, isn't it? Seems that way.
When I watched, I just couldn't believe it. It was just unbelievably bad.
Yeah. Because even against the All Blacks, you can judge your own performance, can't you? You can still look at what you did and go, was that good enough?
And the worst part is their attack is is incredible.
It's fucking zippy.
It's zippy. It's fast.
Yeah.
It's high pace. They're tossing the ball. They're getting that ball out so fast.
Yeah.
It's so the speed of everything. The speed. I don't know if they're fit enough to play the game that they're trying to play.
Yeah.
The speed is like high.
They are supremely fit as well, though, to be fair.
They took.
But you can't play that pace forever, can you?
No, they took England by surprise when that game first started. They did the same thing to New Zealand.
Yeah.
There's a zip, 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 zip.
It doesn't work in rugby, though. There was 2 games this weekend where there was a very big lead at the start. If you give everything in the first 20 minutes, it's hard to maintain that, right? You cannot maintain that pace. You hit the nitro button and you burn out before the end of the 80 minutes, right? Don't care how fit you are. You have to game manage, don't you? You have to game manage.
And I think that's what coaching in Japan, where the coaches in Japan make the mistake. Like these coaches come from outside of Japan.
Yeah.
They come from the outside system and they see all these small guys.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this team's small, so we're gonna play fast.
Yeah.
And
like it's the big brain move.
Yeah,
like work with the tools you've got, right? It's like,
right,
oh, you think no one else has thought of this? Like,
is we're gonna play fast. That's gonna get everyone.
No, the Japanese guys are not fucking another one.
Yeah, it must be like every time a guy comes in, because he's like, this guy comes outside, sees these Japanese people's like, oh, I know what we'll do. Yeah. We'll play fast, really fast. It's like, dude, these humans can't keep up. They can't do this. They could do it for a little bit, but you could see how tired they get right away, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the human body is only capable of so much, which is funny. Do you know what position Eddie Jones played when he played?
Hooker?
Yeah.
And he's like, he's got to be like 5'7".
He's not a big dude. You don't need to be especially tall to be a hooker, but you got to know about the grind of rugby to play at that level at hooker, right? You have to know that this game is not about just whipping out to the backs, right? Many people have tried over the years. Many people talk about champagne rugby, playing in your own half, and it's like, how many times does that actually fucking work? Like, not fucking many.
If someone out there knows what's going on in Japan, because it's sad. It's sad. I wanted to see them, because the last time they played the All Blacks, I think they only lost by like 4 points or 5 points.
Yeah, well, they're coming to Europe, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to be playing a few games.
So, Matt, let's judge them on...
They're playing England, I know that for sure.
Yeah, they're not going to beat England.
No, they won't play.
They might beat Wales. Are they playing Wales?
You better hope not.
Well, whatever.
One more thing before we get into the URC stuff.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a revelation about something.
All right.
I may be more on the fence about 20-minute red cards.
We shit all over 20-minute red cards last week. I did. Tell me. And
this came from the rugby guru, Matt Williams.
Oh.
Negative rugby, mate. It's my favorite thing. Every time when he said that, it lives rent-free in my head.
Yeah.
They're playing negative rugby.
Yeah.
Matt Williams made a comment. I was listening to him on a video.
All right.
And he made a comment about the 20-minute reds because it was something I never thought about. So like back in the day, like before like the whole hardcore safety in rugby came in, rugby was dangerous.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
And they only gave out red cards.
Yeah. For it was basically fighting, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had to do something.
Punch to the fucking head, basically.
Yeah, you had to do something fucking wild.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's already wild shit going all over the place.
Yeah.
Because like gouging,
like scraping with the cleats in the mall and all kinds of nastiness.
Grabbing, eye gouging, all sorts of shit, right?
Yeah.
What's going on throughout the whole game? Because if you watch a game from like the 90s or something like that, or it's fucking a mess.
It is.
Right? Guys are all over the place, flying into rucks, flying into other people.
Yeah.
Like tackles are all super high in people's heads and shit like that. Like you had to do something that was like to get a red card back in the day, you had to like be liable for murder, like basically. Like you had to do something fucking bad.
Yeah.
Right? And now that safety is such a big thing in rugby, cards are coming out left, right, and center.
Yeah. Yeah. With you so far.
Yeah. So something has to. So now you're having this, you're focusing on player safety.
Yeah.
But now like refs are handing out cards like they're candy now.
They're overcompensating.
Yeah. So now that there's more, the refs are, doing like they have to do more job right now. They have to like, okay, I got to penalize this now.
Right.
Right. There's just so many more cards handed out now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So to mitigate this, like something has to change, something has to give. You either take away the player safety, or like how do you stop these red cards from coming out? Because there are some red cards that are happening that shouldn't be red cards.
Yep.
And more every year, we're having debates on was this a red or was this a yellow?
We're having that every fucking week.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the 20-minute reds kind of negates that. It kind of like puts a cushion, like a barrier, like a middle ground between the two eras. Because now that the safety's in, there's more cards. Now that there's more cards, games are getting more disrupted.
Right.
Now that games are more disrupted, fans are getting more angry and disgruntled.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, oh, that's a really good point. Like the game is different now.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the same. It's
not the same game, no.
It's not the same game.
Yeah.
The same game he was playing is different. It was
there
dangerous.
are
It was straight up dangerous. And he said that too. He's like, the game was dangerous.
It was. And more than that, though, fundamentally, there's so many big rule changes that have happened. It is literally a different game in terms of the rules, not just the amount of cards that get handed out, right? The ruck is night and day. The scrum is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're genuinely different things now. Yeah. And obviously, players have to adapt to that. I disagree because I don't think everything you've just said on a linear progression of argumentative points, right? It makes sense. But it doesn't mean there's going to be less cards if you give out the 20-minute rate. You'll have the same amount of red cards for the same actions.
You're not going to have you're not going to have the missing player.
You deserve to have the missing player.
Yeah, but
you deserve to.
Not every time though. There's a lot of times. There's a lot of games.
Yeah,
that's the problem. It's not always black and white.
No, it's not. I'll give you my.
And there's a lot of red cards that are handed out.
Yeah.
Oh man, my position's totally changed on this now. Like there's a lot of yellow.
I'm gonna bring you back. I'm gonna bring you back.
Yeah, there's a lot of red cards that are handed out.
Yeah.
That definitely shouldn't have been a red.
I'm still with you.
There's a player
I'm still
out.
with you. In the last 2 weeks, the Bulls had, over the course of the last 2 games of the Bulls, 2 red cards rescinded. Right? They literally weren't red cards by the letter of the law. They were rescinded. So, yes, you're right. But what I'm going to say is, we've made so many changes to the rules in rugby in the last 2-3 years. We are at no point given it a chance to settle and for people to adapt and to learn. This is how we should do it. We should keep the red card because you have to punish players for dangerous play. Because if we're talking about safety and you have a soft 20-minute red, we've talked about all the negatives of it. We have to give it a couple of years. Don't touch the fucking rules. Let players adapt to things. We have not given them a chance to change their behavior yet.
I think it's what the overall. I think because it's the overall rugby has been really focused on safety for like the last 10, 12 years now.
Well, less than that, but
or less than that.
Yeah,
and the cards have doubled.
Yeah, they have.
And it's been a while. I think it's been almost a decade since they've had this like culture shift.
I don't think it's been that long. I don't think it's much different. But even that's not long enough. We've only just started to see the introduction of the sternum height tackle idea, right? We've only just started to see these new rules that the ruck implemented. There's so many new things that we have to let players adapt to them.
But there's also so many new ways to get red carded now.
Good.
Before.
Good. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Right?
I don't think that's a bad thing.
And a lot of things happen by accident.
Right. Okay. But if that's your argument, we're still talking about punishing a play for dangerous play, regardless of whether the outcome is a straight red or a 20-minute red.
Yes.
It shouldn't. What you're suggesting is if we make the red a softer thing, people will stop playing dangerously. They won't. If anything, they play more dangerously because they can get away with it.
That player will be gone. That player will be sanctioned. That player will probably be fined.
Yeah.
There's still a punishment on that player.
And I see what you're saying from that point of view, because what you're saying is you want the product to be better. Because, a straight red does ruin a game. I agree with that. I'm just coming at it from the point of view of that's your team's problem to deal with. Sort your fucking play out. And no doubt there's inconsistencies in the ways which reds are awarded. Like Sam Cane's and Tom Curry's in the World Cup, very fucking debatable reds, right? Very debatable. And they ruined the games, to be honest.
Yes.
For me, whether you could argue coulda, shoulda, woulda with a red, it's irrelevant, isn't it? You're playing with a man down.
Because they used to give, because the reds were only going out for straight up malicious acts.
Yeah.
Now reds are being handed out in very debatable situations.
They are, and that's the referee's problem to administer it consistently, and it's the team's fault for playing properly.
If the ref goes all Judge Judy on every call, right, the games are going to take forever.
And that's why the answer to this is keep the reds, but every time he gets a card out, don't worry about it. Let the let the box guy deal with it. If it becomes a red, fine. If it doesn't, it's not your problem. You just give a yellow every time.
All right.
You know?
Let's move on this. We both agree you're wrong, but
I think I was concise.
Another thing too.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Squidge Rugby drama?
No.
On Twitter, like he left Twitter.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, because of abuse, online abuse.
Oh, that's not
You
nice.
didn't hear about this?
No. And I do follow him quite closely. I'm not on Twitter.
I heard something about it a week ago.
Yeah.
And then I was reading it. I saw a Wales Online.
Oh, why did you click on it? Why did you click on that website?
I never read Wales Online.
Don't.
Today I did.
Welsh people don't.
What the fuck is this?
It's the worst website known to man.
And it's hard to read the fucking articles too.
Yeah, because they just bounce around.
You got article, you got like a paragraph, and then a bunch of ads, then another couple lines, and then a bunch of. It's like an NFL game. It's just like shooting commercials at you in between the fucking thing.
It hurts my eyes.
Yeah, I can't. There's so many ads and advertisements on it.
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
and they split
awful.
it in the middle, but it's not even like paragraph then an ad.
Yeah,
it's like paragraph, ad, one sentence, 3 lines, ad, and you're like, what the fuck?
And the article headlines, they'll always use the phrase bombshell or something, and it'll be like, man drops from team in bombshell announcement, and you read it, it's like, no, I'm decided to retire because I'm old, and they're like, oh, it's awful. I hate it.
The story I gathered, Squidge Rugby posted some stuff about how Antoine Dupont is the best player in the world.
Oh.
And it just fucking like lit up his...
That's not even that controversial.
His ex. His Twitter, to the point where he was getting like death threats and stuff, and then he decided it just wasn't mentally healthy enough for him to be going on Twitter just to get
abused.
Who
was abusing him? Why
just
would they
fans just be angry that
fans of who? Fans of not Antoine Dupont.
Fans of not Antoine Dupont.
There's not many of them.
Yeah. South Africa.
South
fans probably.
Of course. It's like the Scooby-Doo moment. Is it rip off the mask? Drunk online South Africans.
Yeah. So supposedly he's left Twitter.
Right.
I didn't look at his Twitter to see if he was still on there, but he did post thing, and there was news articles that said lead to online abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like X is like not the same thing as it used to be.
Is it not?
No, it's like 4chan now.
Oh.
Yeah. It's gone to like the wayside. Like it used to be like the place. Twitter used to be the place where I used to go first for news on sports.
Just angry swamp donkeys hammering their keyboards in their basements.
It's fucking like all super political and weird and like it's turned to 4chan.
Right.
Like it's probably going to be like a hotbed for human trafficking pretty soon. I don't know
if it's not already.
Yeah. It's just like a fucking disaster now. But yeah, it used to be like when you wanted something to know on sports, if you wanted to know sports news, it always came out on Twitter first.
Right.
Like sports was just like the place.
I guess it's easier to do that, isn't it?
If you were a sports fan, you had Twitter because everything came out there first.
Right.
Now it's just a fucking shit show. And like, Squidge Rugby.
Yeah.
He's getting bullied out. He's not a big guy. I met him. He's a tiny little guy, you know. He's got to be nice to him.
He's delivering so much excellent stuff for us as rugby fans. I feel bad for him. I just get off social media. It's awful. Yeah. It's fucking awful.
He's got like an ITV gave him a show. He has like a show.
Yeah. I saw that. And he was on he's on the podcast with Dan Coles and Ben Youngs. His stock is rising. Invest now.
Well, he's just so fucking intelligent. He's good at making you believe things that in rugby.
He does gaslight me a lot, especially about Italy. But it's embarrassing for rugby that in the entire time rugby has been professional and broadcast on live television, no one offered analysis at his level ever. No one ever came close to his level. And then he brought out these, to be frank, kind of shitty looking YouTube videos, and the analysis was like insane. Like he was picking apart individual movements and patterns, and it was like, that's great, but why has no one done that before? And he did it in a funny way, so everyone loved it. But I was like, how has rugby at no point gone, should we analyze the game? And then a bit more like, oh, it's about the forwards won this game.
Or should we utilize him?
Yeah, and now they do, which is great. But it's like, there's only one of him. Can we not just get someone else who understands the game at a deep level? You know, like, fucking hell. Surely a coach does.
He's got to be one of the most valuable, like, rugby analysts.
Yeah. So it's, and another thing is, right, there is this weird culture in rugby where, especially with forwards, they talk about the dark arts, and it's like, every time a coach will come on, it's like this. They'll have been retired for 10 years, and it's like they don't want to tell you their secrets. And it's like, you can tell us this happened 10 years ago, and they're like, I don't want to tell you about what goes on in the Forge. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't get it. Yeah, exactly. And they're just so brain damaged. They don't have anything to say.
Because he was on, what podcast was Squidge on? He was on
what's it called? It's Ben Young's
For the Love of Rugby.
For the Love of Rugby.
Dan Coles and him. I think he did 2 episodes with them, or 3.
Yeah, because they keep releasing clips on YouTube. I keep
seeing releasing clips, but I saw clips with both of them, and now I saw clips with just him and Dan Coles.
Yeah.
And these guys are like taking in what he's saying.
They respect him, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't get him on if they didn't.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm saying.
And they're asking him questions about certain things. And they're kind
like
of
they don't know.
Yeah, and they're like impressed. Like he is. Yeah. What a flex.
Totally. It's impressive, isn't it? He's not the biggest guy. He doesn't look like a rugby player. Hasn't cut his hair in 30 years, and then he comes on and just tells people how rugby works to current professionals.
And how smart was it for Dan Coles and Ben Youngs to get him on?
Yeah.
Like, that was intelligent.
It was, because everyone's clicking on it.
Because he's a very popular on social media.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, these guys are on it.
Yeah, they are.
Like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And the fact that they gave him space, they let him talk, they were asking him questions, they were engaged with what he was saying.
They weren't patronizing either, were they? They're literally 2 current England internationals.
James Haskell.
Oh, he wouldn't have shut up though.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've ever watched an interview.
He would have bullied him.
He would have, but not only that.
How do you make those videos with them arms? He would have said something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
He would have
And then self-deprecated for 20 minutes, and then I wouldn't have heard a word Squidge said.
His like school bully-ish.
Yeah.
James Haskell he would have dunked his head in the toilet or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some drama.
That's sad.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some drama? Let's talk about some
drama.
Let's talk about some URC.
All right. Back to my wheelhouse.
I'm not gonna go through game to game.
I like doing that.
I'm gonna jump through games.
You're just gonna give me a kind of a buffet of thoughts here.
But this is the first time in a while, in a long fucking time, that like almost all the Welsh teams won.
Almost
all. Yeah, almost all the
Do you
Welsh
know
teams.
It only counts when they all win, okay? So we only go as fast as our slowest member. So shut that down until the Dragons win a game.
Are the Scarlets good?
Ooh, that's a good question. They're much better. Because last year, I don't know if people remember this, they were fucking awful. They were worse than the Dragons last year, right? So this is a hell of a turnaround. That's a really impressive turnaround. The defense has improved. The signings are really good as well. Like Tane Plumtree is a hell of a signing. And they do have talent. Like Welsh Rugby never has a problem producing talent.
You're seeing some, this year it's like had a bunch of some teams that were shit last year, like turning it around. Like Leicester Tigers.
Yeah.
They have turned it around.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Jumping with the Prem. But yeah, I was just wondering, like, are the Scarlets, so they beat the Bulls.
They did.
Right?
They did, yeah.
Which is a pretty big thing.
I actually sent a quite extensive Facebook message on Messenger to my friend back home about this very subject. On one hand, they had a bit of an easy run, right? They played.
Who's this?
They played Cardiff twice. Like, I'm a Cardiff fan. They're not the best team in the league.
We're talking about Scarlets.
Right, we're talking about Scarlets. They played Cardiff twice.
Yeah.
They beat Zebra.
Mm-hmm.
But the fucking biggest caveat in the world is they beat the Bulls, right? So they've got to be doing something right. And this win this weekend was like a decent win. They've got a much better defense. They've got a new defense coach. They've got a lot of good young talent. They've made some smart signings considering they have about 30 pence to their name. Mm-hmm. So, all I'll say is they're better. I'm not even expecting top 6, but if they're not at the bottom of the league, they'll probably be happy, won't they? And I'd say that for most of the Welsh regions.
Because they look good.
They do look good.
When I was reading like team of the week, players of the week and stuff, like you were seeing a bunch of Scarlet players with Welsh players all over the board.
Yeah, yeah.
All over different articles that were saying, oh, URC players of the week.
The drought is over. All I'm saying is don't get your hopes up. Like there's a lot of rugby left to play.
I want to believe in them.
You want to believe, yeah.
They're the team that represents the north of Wales.
I knew you were going to fucking say that.
So, I want to fucking, I want to believe in them.
All right.
I love underdog stories. So I love teams that come out of the the swamps and they crawl out of the.
This has happened before when they won it in 2017, 2018. This is what happened. I mean, it won't happen this year because the field is different now, right? The landscape of USC is different.
Well, there's some big boys,
but they were shit before that. They were shit the season before that.
Can you not talk about your team that represents you?
I will talk about these these patronizing bastards however I like. They do not represent me.
Yeah, because they beat Zebra 30-8.
Yeah,
put a pounding on them.
Yeah,
never saw that coming.
I thought
it'd be a close game.
Really?
Yeah.
Normal. Last year I'd agree with you. This Zebra have shown nothing. That they scored a try is impressive.
Well, Italy had a bad Italy in general.
You know the Benetton Bulls game. I did want to mention that because Benetton, I thought, had that won. I thought they'd won that game. It was a last minute.
Do you think they got bad luck of the ref in that one?
No, I'm trying to get away from that idea generally. If the game is close, it's not the ref's fault. You know.
What does this say about the Bulls?
They're not as good as we think. They've had losing to the Scarlets, scraping by Benetton. They're not as good as we think. In fact, I think
because they don't have Willie Leroux.
It is literally because they don't have Willie Leroux. Yeah, it's like I said last week. Every time a South African team's
where
like,
is he?
Where do we get our Springboks back?
Is he even on the team?
Does he even play for the Bulls?
Yeah.
Wait till Willie is back. Willie will save us.
Another exciting game. This game too.
Yeah.
Glasgow Stormers.
That was the game of the weekend.
Okay, did you see see where they were playing?
In South Africa.
Yeah. Did you see they were playing like in some they were playing in like this small like open field stadium.
Oh,
and
I
there was,
did see
people
that.
were sitting on hills.
It wasn't their usual football
stadium. It was like a
stadium,
smaller
was it?
venue. Yeah, it was kind of a special day or something. But it looked really cool. And the atmosphere looked great.
That is the theme this year, is people going to bespoke hipster stadiums. Like Ospreys have done it. Edinburgh's little shed is really bouncing because you get better atmosphere.
I really like that idea. Like, go play a game in like at some like local clubs.
Yeah.
Like club. Like,
I mean, you have to have seats, right?
Yeah.
10,000 minimum.
These people, they had hills and shit, and like, there was seating, but there was like people sitting on hills, and there were like blankets out.
Sounds like a good time, right?
I saw something like that in a Super Rugby game in Australia. They played.
Me and you watched it. It was Moana Pacifica v. I think it was the Western Force. Do you remember that?
Something like that.
We watched it, and it was like a monsoon was happening. The people with their picnics out on a blanket watching it, and it was the most chaotic game of rugby we've ever seen.
No, this is a different one.
Oh.
They were playing in I think it was a cricket park or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like people were sitting on the grass. There was people standing around. But it was packed, and it looked great.
Yeah.
I really like that. Glasgow are good.
I mean,
let's be honest. Like, Glasgow's a good team.
No, I'm going to write them off again. I mean, if the mic was off, I'd be telling you how amazing they are and like genuinely consistently good. Like they could be a force, but because we're recording this, they're going to lose.
And Sonny Tuapolatu, he is the main character of the UFC. I mean, the URC this year.
Sonny is the main character of the UFC.
Yeah, Sonny Tuapolatu is the main character of the URC. That guy is fucking incredible.
Yeah, he's class. Yeah,
he's got. In my eyes, he's probably the best player in the URC.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, genuinely. Can't think of someone else.
Damian Williams, he took.
If Billy Lou played, obviously, it'd be him, but he hasn't fucking shown up recently, has he? So.
Yeah, Damian Williams, he took a groin injury.
Yeah, he's out for the.
I saw him score a try, and he grabbed his stomach, like the bottom of his stomach, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
Yeah.
So he's out.
Yeah, he's
I
out.
think he was out of.
He's out of the Autumn Internationals.
Yeah, he was out of the. So he's just coming back. They even made a video of him like he's back, and then now he's like, "Fucking, I'm hurt."
Yeah, they got me.
I think also Vincent Koch got a injury too.
Yeah, he did
in this game.
Is it a long thing or is it?
I think he rolled an ankle.
Yeah.
So that's like pretty bad. Right before they're gonna go out here and out here.
Oh, I mean the Springboks depth though. This is just a chance to find more monsters anytime someone gets injured. I'm never worried about Springbok injuries. Etzebeth maybe. There's every single player on that field. They're like the All Blacks used to be. Like there's some guy behind them waiting, licking their lips to take their spot.
Or no, it was Franz.
Franz Maherba.
Yeah, that's the one who rolled his ankle.
Franz Maherba. Yeah.
So that I don't know. They got I heard the Springboks got a big injury list coming up, going on here.
They do. Yeah, they do. But you've got to remember though, they have players all over the fucking world. They've got the 4 URC teams. They've got a lot of guys in the English Premiership. They've got a lot of guys in Japan. They have more injuries because they've got more guys at that level playing hardcore rugby, right? Like, that's going to happen.
Oh, there's a guy, I forget who plays. He plays in the Prem.
And
I forget his name. I'm pretty sure he's South African, but his name's like Rosenvan something Rosenberg. He sounds like a count. He's got like 5 names.
Sounds like a Transylvanian vampire lord.
Yeah, I was like reading, Rosenberg. I forget his name.
Yeah.
But I was just like looking. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, like 5 names. Who gives their kid fucking 5 names?
I don't know. people of Dutch descent, I guess.
I was like, holy shit. But
Yeah.
anyways, back to the Glasgow. I think Glasgow, I'm believing in them this year.
Yeah, the question
the Warriors
is...
are a good team.
They are a good team. The question is whether Leinster can maintain this, like, scary form. Because we've seen it before, right? In fact, I texted you in the week, didn't I? I was like, oh, this is Leinster's year. They've got this. They look scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably said that 10 other times in my life, you know? So,
let's talk about Ospreys.
I actually did. I watched most of that game. It was just a bit boring, to be honest. Like, there was an incident, if you want to talk about it.
Oh, Duhan pushing the ref?
Yeah.
Did you watch? You watched the video, did you?
Yeah.
Did you see it? What did you think?
It's weird because, okay, several things happened which were slightly dramatic. I've seen people push the ref out of the way a bunch of times at amateur level on TV. And the ref is like 100% of the time, like, yeah, fair enough. I was in your fucking way. It's okay to push me. Like, I've seen it happen a lot.
I've seen Joe Marler get a penalty for that.
I've never seen a penalty
he straight up pushes the ref out of the way.
If it's aggressive and unnecessary,
there, he kind of like just pushes him off, and then the ref stops and then gives him the penalty.
That's kind of fucked up, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, if you're on the charge and you sort of barge him out of the way, I don't see the issue.
I don't see the issue either.
I don't see why.
I watched the video. He does push him.
Yeah, he does.
But he
doesn't go out of his way to.
He's chasing a kick. He's got to get to that kick.
Yeah, he's got to get to. He's doing his job, right?
Yeah.
He's doing his job, and you're in his way, doing your job. Get out of the way. However, I should say in that referee's defense, the ref didn't. He wasn't the one to make the call.
No.
It was the TMO who was like, "You gonna take that off him?
Yeah.
You gonna take that?
Yo, bro, you're gonna let him?
Yeah, you're gonna let him walk all over you like that?
Yeah, your girl's watching.
Yeah.
You're gonna let him do that to you?
Yeah, you're gonna let your girlfriend go home with this man, or are you gonna
like
give him a yellow
6'6".
card?
Yeah, I'll let him do whatever he
he's
wants.
He's a big guy.
Yeah. I'll let him do whatever he wants.
Like.
You're just gonna let him go home and fuck your wife? Like, what are you?
Yeah, if Ivan Drago fucking runs me over, I'm letting him fucking steal my wife. You know?
Yeah, like it's just like fucking.
Yeah. So the TMO I'd snitched, and that's what we just had a snitching basically. So I don't think it would have affected the game. I don't think it was a huge deal, but it's just something we haven't seen before or seen that often, and I was a bit like, that's weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was a little overreaction.
A bit of a fucking odd thing, wasn't it? But other than that, the game
was.
But
Ospreys got a win.
Yeah, they dragged themselves off the bottom of that league. I'm not too worried about them. They've got a decent squad. They could jump up that table pretty handily. I don't think any Welsh team's going to make top 4, but they could get a Champions Cup spot like they did last year. If they play the cards right.
Now for the next game.
Yes, thank God, you finally got to it.
The next game.
Finally.
This game right here. This is the team. This is the night and day team of the URC. The Sharks versus Munster.
I thought you were talking about Cardiff. I was excited. Never mind.
No, we're not even there yet.
Okay, well, there's 2 night and day teams here.
Yeah.
Because one of them...
The Sharks, in my eyes, they're going to win the URC this year.
Do you know what annoys me is how right South African fans were. They wait till our Springboks come back, and then they just got a whole World Cup squad of Springboks back.
Of course Munster's not going to fucking win this game.
But that's the thing. They have won that game.
No one's got a chance to fucking win this game.
But Munster do win those games. That's the crazy thing. Munster have historically won.
Not this team. This team is fucking the Sharks.
Stacked, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at this. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Listen to the pack.
Yeah.
You got Oxnitch.
Yeah.
Bungie Mumbonambi.
Yeah. Good.
Vincent Koch.
Yeah.
Evan Etzebeth.
Yeah.
It
goes
Sia
on.
Khaleesi, Grant Williams.
Yeah.
Jordan Hendricks.
Yeah. Willie LaRue. What's he doing there?
Makazole Mumpimpi.
Yeah.
Andre Esterhuizen.
Yeah. Lucanio Am's there as well.
Lucanio Am.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Afele Fassi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Springbok.
Yeah. If you like that, Steve, wait till you hear about Leinster.
Yeah. But
it's the same deal.
Team. This is the team that went out to play against Munster. Like no one's like that's almost the team that played Ireland.
Again, wait till you hear about Leinster.
Yeah.
That's what Leinster are doing this year. They're playing their best players.
Well,
and the Sharks are doing that same thing, and it's working.
This is the like on paper. This is the like if you you know what I'm suspicious. How are they paying these guys? How are the Sharks affording
TV deals?
How do they afford all the like something's
Well,
going
there's no
on.
salary cap.
Yeah, but the Sharks, like what kind of money do the Sharks got? Because easily, all these players would be high-paid players in France, Japan. Like, how are they luring these guys here?
Luring them? They're playing for the best team in South Africa, and they're South Africans. It makes total sense to me. I wouldn't be surprised if several of them took pay cuts to be in that team.
I think there's some...
there's so much pride in that Springbok jersey, again, which is amazing, that they're happy to take maybe they're not taking a pay. Remember, there's no fucking. If that club has the money, they can pay him. There's no salary cap in the USC, right? But yeah, they're happy to play for their club and their country. Isn't that a good thing?
That's what I'm like.
Yeah,
that's what
that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, that's what I'm going at. But it's just like, how do they keep a team? Like that is that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Don't discount the fact that they probably have a lot of money. You know, they get a lot of money from TV deals. The Sharks do sell out stadiums. Like, that's a big South African team, right? With a lot of history. Wouldn't be surprised if they got a lot of money in a massive country like South Africa. It's kind of the fashionable thing to say, oh, where's your electricity and your economy shit and all that about South Africa, but still a reasonably wealthy country, but, you know, comparatively, you know. So I think they're fine.
When I saw that team sheet, I was like, no one's going to beat this. No one's beating these guys. These guys, are they in the Champions Cup this year?
I don't think so, because they were pretty low in the league last year, weren't they? I don't know for sure. But no, they won the Challenge Cup, so that means they're automatically in the Champions Cup.
This is like a fucking, like...
Yeah.
This is a super team.
That's what Leinster are. But more so. There are other super teams in this league. Yeah.
There is. That team is like, of course...
It's very cool, though.
I was like, oh, Munster, like, how could you... And I'm looking at the team sheet, and I'm like, holy shit.
And Munster have some problems. Like, you know, it is easy to say, and I've made excuses for Munster that, yeah, they've got a big injury list and all this, but, like, their scrum got embarrassed, and they did not look coherent. They
have a huge mixture of young talent coming in and guys kind of moving out. They got and then they got some
a lot of injuries though.
Yeah, they got a younger squad this year. There's a lot of kids they're playing now.
Yeah,
they lost some players.
They did lose a couple.
They lost a bunch of players, and some of their bigger guys they're relying on some older guys.
Tyke Burton didn't play the best game of rugby ever, which is what he does every single week either. And Jack Crowley again didn't play my favorite ever game of rugby. It is hard when your forwards are getting minced though. Their scrum got absolutely fucking traumatized. So
it was just when I saw that I didn't feel so bad for Munster after I saw their team sheet versus the Sharks.
But what I'm telling you is, if that's what scares you, you're in the wrong game. If you are Munster Rugby, you are the URC champions 2 years ago. Yeah. That shouldn't scare you.
And
you know?
But what does scare me is that, like, as soon as they got their Springboks back, they also, this goes to credit for Glasgow,
right? Because
Glasgow almost beat them last week.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't get bullied around.
No.
They took them to the brink. It took them to the end.
Yeah.
And so that even shows how good Glasgow are this year too.
Yeah, Glasgow really good. Yeah,
because they could have won that game.
Yeah, it was a close game. Totally. Yeah.
But oh man, the Sharks, if like
they're the new Bulls. They're the new Bulls.
They are the new Bulls.
Yeah, they could you know, they're still in ninth though, right? And yeah, they were all like, wait till we get our Springboks back. And they were right. Like when the Springboks came back, holy shit, it shows. That's only 2 games. It's a long season to go. I could see them making top 4. Because to be honest, here's my hot take of the week. I don't think Lions are as good as people think they are. I think they had a bit of an easy run, and as soon as they came up against Leinster, it was like, welcome back to reality, you know?
I was going to say the thing about Lions, because they were the only team before they played unbeaten.
Yeah.
And I was like, the teams they played, I was like, I don't think that they're tested yet.
No, they had an easy run. Yeah, they played well, and they're a good team.
I'm just going to say, with that team sheet, though, with that Sharks, if whatever game they play that has that team sheet, they're winning that game.
Except Leinster, I think. And maybe Glasgow on another day. Glasgow and Leinster can beat them. I even think another South African team could beat them. So I'm going to say it now. I'm going to go Leinster, Glasgow, Bulls and Sharks in the top 4 this year. Can't see anyone kind of messing with that little...
I'm still like not... Like the Bulls are good, but there's something about them this year. They're starting to make me like question...
It's Willie LaRue.
Yeah.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Game here we go. Leinster versus Lions.
I just told you exactly what I think about it. Like, Lions are flattering to deceive, and Leinster were like, we are winning this league this year. We will sell our firstborn children to win the URC this year, and Lions just got in the way.
The thing about this game, too, is Leinster put out a bunch of their kids, and their kids look good.
That is the oldest news headline. That's so 2003 to say, you know?
Yeah, they threw the kids out there for this one.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, the internationals are starting up. Some of the players, they're resting some of the players.
Yeah.
Sam Prendergast, he started this game.
He did, yeah.
Okay, this kid's boot.
Yeah.
He's a sniper.
He's good
with his kicking.
Yeah.
When that ball is going exactly where he wants it, every fucking time.
Yeah.
You can just see I don't know. Did you watch the game at all?
I only watched the highlights here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest, people have told me the lines weren't as bad as the scoreline looked.
No,
you
and
know?
their defense is really good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, their defense is really good. They are a hard team.
Yeah.
But this Leinster's defense though is fucking unbelievable. They're such a well drilled team, like super clinical.
Yeah.
They had this kid running around, this like Hugh Cuny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck is this kid? This like ginger kid, this big fucking, and he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's like this big center.
Mm.
I'm looking at, he's 21 years old.
Yeah.
I was looking, they threw in a bunch of their academy players for, they brought up academy players.
Yeah.
This year, he's one of the graduates.
Yeah.
Man, they have like the Leinster system, like their academy system.
Oh, it's never going to end.
Did you hear like Leo Cullen said I saw a headline, I didn't read it, like they used like 47 players this year already.
Yeah. Isn't that wild? They probably, as well, they've got offcuts. Like, they're probably turning away world-class guys. That's how many players that like kind of chain of private schools produce from, right? Like, this is, like when other countries and clubs have kind of surges and they get really good. Leinster are never going to be bad ever again. That setup is, like, that's locked in, you know?
That whole, that trickle down, like the levels below them, like their academy system, the school system in Ireland,
isn't it? Yeah,
like their feeder systems, like
it's insane. It's insane. Yeah, it's that, like, speaking of Squidge, that video where he talks about they've essentially got something like close to 20 private schools as essentially academies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is a watertight system. They're never going to have a bad year,
I watched a video too on how like the RFU, no, it's the IRFU, they wanted to like make rugby a thing.
Yeah.
And their plan was to build from the ground up. And they literally started at the bottom.
What do you mean?
Like they set this plan up. They wanted to like be in contention or win the World Cup in like 10 years or something like that.
Right.
They had this big plan, and their plan was to start building Irish rugby up from the bottom up.
Right. Invest in grassroots, you mean, right?
Invest in grassroots.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what they did, and it's paying dividends.
Oh yeah.
They have talent come, like I
thought when you said start again, I thought they like scrapped all their teams or something.
No, they started at the bottom.
Oh right.
Of the
right. I understand.
Grassroots.
Yeah.
And it's just. Yeah, you can see it just paying.
Oh,
dividends.
Totally.
There's always like a new talented Irish player coming out, and they're keeping them in Ireland.
Yeah, that's the big thing, isn't it?
That's the big thing.
This is like New Zealand 5-10 years ago, where like every time they'd play, they'd be like, "Oh, they're starting this untested rookie, and he's the best fucking player you've ever seen." Like that's what Leinster feels like now.
Yeah. So these Irish teams, and they're passing players around between teams.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like the other areas get the offcuts. They get the shit beef cuts from Leinster, don't they? And
but these players are still playing.
And they are. And you only got to look at some of the lists in Munster, Connacht and Ulster, and you see like Dublin private school attendances going on, right? Like these are Dublin kids who have been playing since they were fucking 4 years old with a personal trainer, So it's watertight though, isn't it? It's never going to be bad.
No, especially Leinster. But you can see like these, every Irish club is going to get better and better and better. And that talent, keeping that talent in Ireland.
Yeah.
Because their grassroots is strong and it's getting stronger. More money is piling into it every year. And they have a professional system that's attracting these players to stay.
I think the thing for me is...
Because every other country, every other tier 1 nation besides France, players leave.
And the question is, do they leave because there's just not enough room for them? Do they leave for money? Do they leave for adventure? Right?
Why do you think the English players are leaving?
Money.
Why do you think the New Zealand players are leaving?
I think different reasons, but again, mostly money.
Australian players?
Australia's shit. That's the reason. What I'm saying is, I see the point you're trying to make. I think there are different reasons. Obviously, a lot of it's money. The thing is, Ireland is a country of about 8 million people, right? And in the last 10 years, they've had this surge. And people always say, oh, rugby's not even the most popular sport in Ireland. Well, actually, if you look at the way it will be pretty fucking soon. It fucking will be. And if you look at the attendances to games, it's hard to argue that it's not the most popular, or
80,000 for Munster.
Exactly, right? So that argument is going to lose traction pretty soon, right? It's not even the most popular game. It will be. And if the point where you have,
especially if they win a quarterfinal,
fucking
country will go nuts.
But that's the thing. Like, the Irish love their rugby as well, right? Like, you know, they bring out a lot of fans. They've got huge overseas support in the United States and Canada. Like, they have got this very nice setup. So the point I'm going to make is, in about 10, 20 years, when this popularity of rugby continues to grow, as you said it will, then they'll have people kind of spilling over the sides. Then they'll have people going, actually, I could make a lot of money. There's not enough room for me in an Irish province. Because they've got 4 teams, which, in a country of 8 million makes sense. You look at England, country of about 60 million, makes sense that they have 10 teams. France, the same deal. Eventually, though, with the amount of talent they produce, it will spill over, you know? Those guys, you will start seeing more guys play overseas. Cardiff just signed an ex-Leinster prop this year. Like, it starts to happen, right? So
you already got... oh my God, Bundyaki already in Toulon.
Is that confirmed? Is it?
There's even rumors that Toulon want to pay to get him earlier because he's contracted to 2026. So they're willing to pay to like get him out of his contract to get him over to Toulon, which is fair. He's like 35 years old.
Oh, I wouldn't blame him.
He's done his duty to Ireland. To him. All the power to him.
He only got his citizenship a few weeks ago though, so that's a bit suspicious. I'm only joking. He's class. I would wish him well if he did that. He's
lived in Ireland longer than Shannon Frizzell has lived in New Zealand.
yeah.
You know, so you know, give him props.
No, I do. I love Bundyaki. I'm just making a joke about it. Like, he's class. He deserves like a cushy retirement in France, if anyone does.
And Leinster's Leinster's gonna be Leinster's. I want to see when Leinster play the Sharks.
Yeah,
I want to see Leinster play. Yeah, some have they even played a South Africa? Is this the first South African team they played?
That's a good question.
Because
it might be, actually. I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I want to go through the match history, but maybe I should just know that as a guy who talks into a fucking microphone about rugby. I don't know. It might be. But I'd love to see him play a really physical team, i.e. Bulls or the Sharks.
Yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see when I see them play, because if they go and play the Sharks and wallop them, then...
I think they would, though. I think that's the disconnect we're having a bit.
Do you think the Leinster team, the full-on Leinster team, versus the full-on Sharks team, who wins that game?
I think Leinster 7 times out of 10. Yeah, I do.
Ooh, that's hard to call.
Really?
You said that really easy.
I did, because if you think, like, you're making a big deal, and rightfully so, about the fact that Sharks are a changed team with their Springboks in it, right?
Yeah.
And they've got 8, 9 very good, not just Springboks, like very 13, fucking good World Cup winning Springboks, right? It's a lot. But if you look at Leinster's starting, that's not 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. That's the Irish team minus Tadhg Beirne. That's the Irish team, right? Minus Bundyaki. But what the point I'm making is, even in the positions that you'd pick a guy from Munster, you can find a replacement who's just as good at Leinster, who has got several Irish caps. They'd win that game, and they play together all the time. Like, the Sharks have had whatever they've had, and then their Springboks come back. They haven't even had the consistency to play together.
So they're just gonna get better.
Yeah, they are. They are. But like, look at Leinster playing the Lions, right? Like, that wasn't a close game.
No,
at least on the scoreline. As much as people have been telling me,
I do think the Lions are a bit overhyped going. Me
too. But from what Lions was still unbeaten.
It's just so early. It's only round 5.
That's the thing. That's another thing.
It's so early to see where these teams are really at.
Yeah, I'll tell you something though. I was just looking back to see they haven't played a South African team. Week 1, Leinster 33, Edinburgh 31. Okay, wow. Like, Edinburgh, a decent team. That's a close game first out the gate. Next game, Leinster fucking smashed the Dragons. No big deal. No one's surprised, right? Mm-hmm. And then week 3, Leinster annihilate Benetton, 35-5. Like, that's not a close game. Benetton aren't bad. They're about as good as Edinburgh are, right? And then week 4, Leinster 26, Munster 12. If there was going to be a challenge, that was it. Wasn't really a challenge. Leinster are getting better quickly, and they've got a Barrett boy to come over. They still haven't got their fucking package of Barrett yet.
Yeah, because they have, I think, that tight head from France. They have...
Yeah, Slimani, Snyman, and Barrett.
Yeah, coming in.
That's insane. And they got these guys so that when they lose guys to international duty, they still have incredible international talent ready, right?
Well, let's go on to the next game here. We've been talking a long time about Leinster.
Right. Sorry. Talk about Cardiff now, please.
Well, okay, we'll get into Cardiff because we got to talk
If
about...
you dare talk about Connacht Dragons first.
Yeah, it's the next game up.
Fuck's sake.
So, Connacht beat the Dragons.
Yeah, next question.
All right, okay, Cardiff versus Ulster. 21-19.
Here we go.
21-19.
We're so back.
You're back?
Oh,
I watched the highlights of this game.
Yeah.
Man, Cardiff looked like the smallest fucking...
you text me that, and I was just going to text you back like, what?
Yeah,
What are you on about?
They looked so tiny and young, and I was like, man, they got to be
Really?
the smallest guys. Yeah.
I don't know. They made a mockery of Ulster's scrum, though. Maybe that's because they're close to the ground if they're small. I don't
Maybe
know.
it's a back line. They're
Yeah.
like tiny little kids.
Maybe. They got that guy, Ewan Stevens. Did you see his try? And he his acrobatics. It was one of those, like, you know, where they leap and just...
Oh, okay,
tap
yes,
it
I did
down.
see that. Yeah, I
Oh.
saw that.
Oh,
And he
loved it.
was tiny.
He's not a big guy.
No, he's a
but, I
tiny
mean, he's a
fucking
winger,
guy.
but he's not tall either, is
Yeah.
he? Yeah, totally. This game, though, this is my confession. This is why I turned it off. Because it was like Ulster 3 tries up, 2 converted, 1. So it was like 19-0 at half time. I thought, fucking Cardiff. I mean, Ulster are kind of having their purple. They have a purple patch every year where everyone thinks Jacob Stockdale's good again, and then they remember.
Yeah, that's the talk of the town.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Don't worry. In
He's back.
2 weeks, he'll not be back again. Okay.
Yeah.
But like Ulster always have a good purple patch, and I thought we've caught Ulster at their purple patchiest of times, right? And then Ulster did Ulster. Ulstered it.
They did.
They Ulstered
They
it.
did Ulster.
And
it.
do you know what was annoying about that? The second half, when I eventually got back to watching it, because it was a win, like Cardiff played really well in the second half. Like James Botham came on and like he just bossed it. Like our bench for the first time ever was effective. We looked fucking awesome. And all people could talk about is like Ulster threw that game away. And yeah, they should have kept scoring fucking points. But
How
like
did Sheedy do?
he did a bit better in the second half. I'm still not convinced. You know, Tynus de Beer is still my guy.
Was he even on the team sheet?
Tynus de Beer.
Yeah. Did he even play?
I think Sheedy played the full.
What's
full 80.
going on here? Why do they hate him?
Oh, they like him, but I think they think that Sheedy's the guy. You know, he's the homecoming queen.
Okay, but where is he? Because he's not even on the team sheet. This is like the second game in a row.
Tynus de Beer.
Yeah.
Is he not on the bench?
No.
Oh, I didn't even know.
I'm looking at the team sheet right now.
Maybe he's injured.
Whatever happened to him? He's a pickup.
He's not gone anywhere.
He's
Don't
gonna go to
worry.
Leinster.
Yeah, probably.
They need another 10.
Yeah, they need another 10 for us to talk about, don't they? Fucking hell. Yeah.
And that's the URC for the week.
Yeah.
Just because
It was a good week, actually.
Yeah, just because time here.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to mention about the Prem?
I could summarize him. Exeter shit, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
Bristol good. Leicester good. Gloucester not bad. That's about all I got.
Yeah, Leicester.
If you want to make it quick.
Because I think people are debating Leicester are really good,
Yeah, they are.
and they're good.
They're good.
They're good. Michael Cheka is doing.
He's doing something.
I have this like conspiracy almost like why new coaches do good their first year because they get in, they focus on the basics, right?
Before they develop their strategy.
Yeah, because they're just in a new squad, so
Yeah.
they don't want to just rip up the whole system.
Yeah.
So they focus on set play, defense,
Yeah.
easy shit.
Yeah.
Right. But those are the things that win games.
Yeah. And
Right.
you should just keep doing them.
And then and then the next year after,
Yeah.
they start doing their own shit. Like, okay, we're gonna play some.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Now
do
we've
this.
learned the basics.
And then it goes to shit. Like,
Yeah.
or they get really exposed and they're not as good as they were.
Genuinely, I think that's why Gatland was successful for as long as he was, because he never did anything fancy. He was just like, just keep doing basics, boys.
Yeah.
Just keep doing basics.
Because they are like their set piece, their defense is great,
Yeah.
and I think that's exactly probably what he's focusing on.
Yeah. And he seems the type, doesn't he? Just do the basics, do the forward stuff really well. There's a couple of things actually I do want to say generally about the Gallagher Prem. It's not as competitive this year, which makes me sad because I was the Gallagher Prem's like biggest hype man last year. Every game was fucking close and exciting. Now we're starting to see some cracks. Northampton have fallen way off. Exeter fallen off. It's hard to explain why. It's just I expected much closer games from some of these teams. Like Sale got hammered by Bath, 40-13. Like Sale. They're better than that. Or they should be. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm sad that it's not as competitive because it would only take something very minor for me to lose interest in the Gallagher and fully focus on the USC, right? And that's starting to happen a bit. I'm like, I don't care again,
What did you just say?
If it's not as competitive, I'll lose interest in the Gallagher Prem.
Okay.
What do you think I said?
No, that's what I thought you said.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you said something. I thought you said something different.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's you're seeing a split in the league.
It's starting to tear off, isn't it?
Yeah, you're starting to tear off.
Yeah.
Which for a 10-team league, like is not.
It's not a good look.
No, look at you have like more teams,
Mm.
like the URC and stuff. You're gonna have shit teams. You're gonna have really good teams.
Yeah.
You're gonna have that split. But like,
Well, we've got an excuse. There's no salary cap. They haven't got an excuse. There is a salary cap here, right?
yeah, there's some surprising because Exeter is by far the most shocking.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't.
They're just not clicking. There's like a bunch of children running around with blocks and drool. Their hands are all sticky from eating too much candy.
Yeah.
Like, and they got like the biggest pack in the
They're
Prem.
massive guys. Harlequins haven't won in Exeter at Sandy Park for a long time, and they didn't just win.
The only consistent team here that I think is Harlequins, because they're always they're never the top and they're never the bottom.
Yeah. Always the bridesmaid.
Like, I wonder what it's like being a Harlequins fan, because they're just never gonna win the championship.
They did it. They won it not that long ago, a couple of years ago.
Was it a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. And
When was
they're,
that?
they're always there or thereabouts. Maybe 3-4 years ago. Hang on.
Because as long as I remember, they were always just middle of the pack, or they might crack into the top.
They're
four
always
once
up
in a while.
there. Do you know what I mean? They're always up there. I think they won it 2021 in the COVID days. Anyway, you're still right though. They're always the sexiest bridesmaid.
Yeah.
You know? They just happen to get upgraded one year.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, let's get into some international rugby because it's starting up now.
All right. This is what you've been waiting for,
It's
isn't
the
it?
time of the year.
Yeah.
I love the autumn internationals,
I do as well.
and I mostly love autumninternationals.com.
It's .co.uk actually.
.co.uk.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, ultimateinternationals.com.
What we really
Do you
want
want
to
to
know
tell the story or what?
what we really want to know is
Yeah. Who fucking made this website?
who made this.
It's kind of spooky, isn't it?
It's just
So
this
for co-
ghost of the internet.
So we're doing our research for, and I show you the laptop, and I go, when you Google Autumn Internationals, do you always get this website? You go on this website, it looks like it's made in the 90s. It's got all the fixtures correctly recorded.
It's coded in HTML.
And there's 4 headers up there. There's England internationals, Scotland internationals, Ireland internationals, Wales internationals. That's it. There's no about. There's no links to anything else. It's just the fixtures. And every time I Google it, it's always the top result.
Yeah, and it's always got the that thing's updated all the time.
Yeah, it is. It's some guy who just
It has to be some guy
who's the highest on the Google algorithms.
because there's no team working on that website.
No, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's scary. It's like
Brought to
some
you
dark
by-
web
Is
shit.
it autumninternationals.co.uk?
.co.uk. Yeah, check him out.
Check them out.
Or him out, I don't know. Or her.
Or yeah, whoever they are, I don't know.
Whatever haunted spirit in the basement of the Millennium Stadium is making this website, go and support
It
them.
has to be. It's a fucking ghost
It's a ghost, yeah.
because it looks like it's something that was. It looks like a website that should be lost on the internet.
It does, yeah.
Not the first thing that comes
Yeah.
up on Google
Yeah,
search.
looks like something from the ancient days, from dial-up, doesn't it? Autumninternationals.co.uk. Very strange
It's always
website.
there for you.
Yeah, perfectly updated. No other information either. Nothing.
We're the first podcast to ever talk about this website.
Hopefully the last. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, but if you ever want to know anything
Yeah.
about internationals
Yeah,
with Northern Hemisphere teams,
yeah.
they got it on there.
Do you know what's probably funny? It's probably World Rugby who make this website. They just have an awful
They haven't gotten
social
around to,
media design
bringing
guy.
it over.
Yeah.
Just there's
Yeah.
a Milton from the Office Space working on it. They forgot about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, we still have that website.
And he
Fuck.
gets up every day and update, and
Yeah.
he maintains
Is
this
George
website.
still down there working on it? Yeah, he's been down there for 9 years.
yeah.
Oh my god. God, my god, they're running down the stairs.
Yeah.
They turn on the lights.
Yeah,
They
some guy
turn
with
the
a
power-
fucking 3-foot beard.
Oh, hello.
George, you can
fuck.
stop. I can't stop.
How long have you been down? Is that a sleeping bag?
What's that smell, George?
He's like,
You pooping in the corner?
that's exactly what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Saturday, England, New Zealand. I can't wait for this game.
It's actually going to be my game of the weekend.
There's going to
Yeah.
be some blood.
Yeah.
How do you think this game's going to go?
I wouldn't mind England winning this, but I know exactly. I think what's going to happen is same as it's going to be a really close game, and New Zealand are going to win. I think.
Ooh.
I think, and on the basis they've just played more high level rugby
Oh,
recently.
I can't wait for this because I love how the one thing I love about England is when the All Blacks do the haka,
Yeah,
they just drown it out.
yeah, they do.
They drown the
They're just
shit out of it.
booing, throw in their beer.
I
Yeah.
fucking love every second of
Me
it.
too.
Yeah. I'm like, this is this is how you should treat the haka.
Yeah.
Everyone's
However you want.
Everyone's standing like, yeah, we'll let you intimidate us for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you shout death threats at me.
Yeah, like this is how you treat the haka.
Yeah.
This is every team should do it. Don't respect the haka.
No. It's a war dance.
Yeah, it's a war dance.
War dance back.
War.
Be warish.
Yeah, warish.
Yeah.
Back against them.
Yeah.
Do your warish things.
Yeah.
Like it's like such a let them do the haka. I love the haka.
I love the haka too, but you shouldn't have to stand there and take it. Like
no, don't stand there and take it. Do something.
Yeah.
Like throw rugby balls at them. I don't know, but
have a game of dodgeball while they're doing it.
Yeah, I just I love that. I fucking love that. I think England are gonna win this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You want to say anything more?
I'm calling New Zealand to have a rough northern tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could see Ireland beating them. Beating them. Actually, Scotland.
Do they on the UK? Does it show the France?
On the Ultimate International. This is strictly a .co.uk website.
I'm pretty sure they show France on there too.
They do not. It's England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales fixtures.
If you look at the list, I think it'll show France on there.
It doesn't.
Because they will show.
Oh no, you're right. It does. Fuck.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that guy George in the basement there, he's on
he's
it.
diligent. I was actually looking at the bottom of this website. There's updated news articles.
I think
Something's
New Zealand
going on.
play France too.
Week 2. Sorry, not week 2.
The week 2 they'll play Ireland.
Yeah, you were right. France, New Zealand, week 3. Week 3.
Do they play Wales? No.
New Zealand?
Yeah.
No.
They play Scotland.
They do play. No, they play Italy.
Oh, okay.
That's weird.
So I'm calling that New Zealand loses all 3 of those games.
Well, no,
It's
not
Ireland.
Italy.
No, not Italy, but they'll lose to Ireland, England, and France.
Yeah.
I'm calling for there.
I think I'll lose to France and Ireland. Although France are a bit ropey now. They're not as good as they were. Anyway,
I think
whatever.
England's going to be angry. They're going to want some revenge.
Oh, they'll be up for it. It'll be a hell of a game.
And the crowd is going to be behind them.
Yeah.
I think their biggest chance of winning is actually the biggest chance of New Zealand winning the game. I think they have a big chance of beating Ireland, I think.
New Zealand do.
Yeah, I feel like there's
Ireland don't like getting rattled, do they?
They don't like getting rattled.
They like having things their own way, don't they? Like,
and they also got they're relying on some players that are getting past their prime.
I still think Ireland have the cohesion, consistency.
They do. I expect.
And they got some of their guys back.
I expect them to win this game, but I feel like that's the most winnable game for New Zealand.
I disagree, except for Italy. I think they'll beat Italy, but I think.
Yeah, stop fucking mentioning Italy. No, it's not even a game.
It's like when you tried to imply that all the Welsh regions had won, and I was like, yeah, no one cares about the fucking Dragons. Right?
Yeah, don't fucking worry about it.
Except my mother.
Yeah.
So that's just the first game. That's just the first game. Scotland, Fiji.
Okay, this game is gonna be good.
It will be good because they both attack.
This game, sorry, I'm gonna rephrase that. This game can be good.
It could be it could be 6-6. Could it? It's just a complete mess.
It depends on what Fiji shows up.
Yeah.
But I know they're gonna have a stacked team.
Fiji are consistently better these days. They just won the Pacific Nations Cup rather handily against admittedly worse opposition, but
I'm not even putting that as a factor.
No, that's a factor. It's not.
And the
it's
players
not nothing.
and the players that they have, the players that it was in that versus what's playing against Scotland.
Yeah.
And what they have, because the top 14, the top 14. Am I saying this right?
Yeah, the top 4 teams.
Yeah, no, the top 14.
Oh,
in France.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, they're allowing the Fijis access to the world.
They've released their Fijians.
Yeah, they're releasing the Fijians.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, you guys are allowed
like
to go.
Like a tagged animal back into the wild.
Yeah, you're allowed to go out and play.
Yeah.
So the team's gonna the team looks stacked.
Yeah.
So Scotland, I would like. This isn't a give. This isn't a give.
It's not a given.
Yeah, it's not a giving.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Fiji are consistently better.
Yeah.
Although Scotland, I'm calling Scotland by about 5 points.
I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this game.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I love writing off Glasgow. May as well write off Scotland. No, I didn't though. I said they'd win.
Yeah,
Never mind. Yeah.
It's getting late. That's why.
Yeah, it is actually.
I'm starting to slur my words.
Yeah,
like
me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So this game, I'm actually excited for this game because this game is either going to be. This game has potential to be really good.
Yeah.
And has a potential for a Fiji upset, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's week 1.
That's
right?
week 1.
That's week 1, but that's it. That's it.
There's
2 games.
Well, if you Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, and Sweden.
You know what I mean. Relevant rugby teams.
Yeah. The week after, we'll get into that, but later on. But
what? Can't do it now? No, we're running out of time, aren't we?
Yeah, we are running out of time. Well, friends, I think we talked about everything we want to talk about.
I didn't.
No, you didn't?
Fuck no, I want to keep talking about this, but you want to cut me off.
Well, what else do you want to say?
The rest of the... No, you're right. They haven't happened yet. As in, they're not coming up this week. I see what you're...
We can talk about those next week's game
next
on
week.
Sunday.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I thought we were excited to go through the entire 4 weeks of Autumn Internationals on autumninternationals.co.uk.
We can if you want to make this
No, I'm just taking the piss. It's fine. I'm tired.
Yeah, we can talk about... I can talk about this all night.
No, it's okay.
All night long. All right, friends, like and share the podcast.
Yes, please.
Get us on our Patreon. We don't have a Patreon. Oh. Your eyes went up like, what?
I mean,
yeah, like and share it.
Yeah. Have a look on YouTube.
Yeah, engage us on YouTube. Send us a little message.
Yeah.
Little message on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to you. Have a